Who knew you were going to be on the big story of the morning, Megan? Woohoo! Tell us all about how this came to an end.
Yeah, I mean, we headed up here this morning, Heather, thinking we were going to be reporting on the kangaroo still being missing. And we arrived to learn the happy news, the hoppy news, that the kangaroo has been caught safe and sound and is now here at the Oshawa Zoo. And yes, it is several days that the kangaroo was on the loose. She was on her way to Quebec with another kangaroo and making a pit stop here, sort of to stay at like a kangaroo hotel, basically, a rest stop on the way to Quebec. And when the handlers were unloading her, she bolted and made a run for it and had been on the loose since then. A lot of people in the community on the lookout for her, volunteers searching for her. She was spotted several times, but evaded capture until this morning. And we're going to bring in Staff Sergeant Chris Boileau to hear the story of how the kangaroo was captured, because it was actually some of your officers who managed to find her. Tell us what happened.
So just after 3 a.m., some of our officers were on patrol in North Oshawa. They managed to actually locate the wayward marsupial in a driveway. They kept eyes on it for a couple of hours. We attempted to make contact with animal control and a few other community partners. Got best practices about how to try to apprehend it safely. And just before 7, 2 of our members from East Division actually ended up grabbing it by the tail and successfully held her down. She was cold, hungry, but she was unharmed otherwise.
Yeah, and in terms of best practices in catching a kangaroo, I mean, the public had been warned if they did spot the kangaroo not to approach her and try and capture her themselves, because it could be dangerous, right? So tell us a bit more about how it was for your officers. I'm assuming they didn't put handcuffs on her or anything. How did they actually manage to secure her?
No, so they approached it quietly, but again, she was fairly docile by that point. When they got a little too close initially, one of our officers was struck in the face by the kangaroo. He's fine, and we won't be continuing that investigation.
And he certainly has a tale to tell now, and I understand he's fairly new on the job too, Heather, so quite a way for him to be starting off his career. But I understand in your career, this is not the first time you've had to deal with a wayward animal and had to help capture one. Tell us what happened to you a few years ago.
About a decade plus ago, when I was much younger and had a bit more hair, I was involved in trying to wrestle an emu in northern Pickering. Needless to say, it was one of the pinnacles of my career at this point. I was fine, a little disheveled by the end of it, but it ended up all right.
Yeah, and in terms of what we were saying before, Heather, you know, often police officers have to deal with stories that are much more sad and hard to deal with. This is kind of a more happy one for you guys, something kind of fun and lighthearted for your officers to deal with today, right?
Absolutely. The majority of time we're doing media releases, we're doing interviews, it's for extremely negative reasons. Often public safety related, and there's often a lot of trauma. This is nice, it's a nice change. Us working with the community and ultimately, you know, saving a kangaroo's life.
Yeah. Okay, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. Heather, I haven't been allowed in with the video camera to see the kangaroo for myself, but I was allowed in by the zoo owner to take a photo of her. I think you've probably been showing that still. She's got some company. There are some other kangaroos here. And now the zoo owner is awaiting the pickup because, again, this is the Oshawa Zoo, but the owner doesn't own this kangaroo. They were in transport to another zoo in Quebec. And so the original handlers who had her when she escaped are due to come back and get her. So we hopefully will speak to them when they arrive to pick her up. But the bottom line, she is safe and sound, which may be somewhat surprising given the temperatures over the last few days. Who knows what she ate while she was out in the wild, but there are other animals and other risks that would have been posed to her. So quite the ending to this story of the missing kangaroo. But she is safe and sound in the building behind me now.
And I'm listening to the sounds in the background, Megan. Clearly the other animals at the Oshawa Zoo are happy to have her back. They are joining in the chorus there of welcome back.
They've probably never seen so much excitement here. There were several police cars here earlier. They just left. But yeah, a busy morning here at the Oshawa Zoo for these animals.
Not just for Officer Beaulieu. It's a nice respite for us too. So thank you, Megan, there on the good news story of the day. The kangaroo is caught and fine in Oshawa, Ontario. Megan Fitzpatrick, thanks for all of that.